Hey guys, Jess from Knockout Print Shop, and today I have for you my September 2019 Reflect and Goal Set video. I haven't done one of these in a while because I'm not sure if these are something you guys like to see or not. I know they're not the most exciting videos to watch, so I'm not sure. Let me know below if this is something you want me to continue to do. I do enjoy kind of talking through my reflection and sharing insights with you guys, and hopefully you find some of that interesting and helpful for your kind of goal setting process. And also let me know if you'd rather see my face in these videos, so it looks like or feels like more like a face-to-face conversation versus just staring at my handwritten reflection the whole entire time. So this is the second time I filmed this particular video. I filmed this video last week, so today is October 2nd. I filmed the video last week just before the month ended, thinking nothing really remarkable was going to happen in the last few days of the month, and I was completely wrong. So I decided to go back and film this again because some things had changed that I think actually did impact my reflections and my goal setting. So when I filmed this, there were some big life things that hadn't happened yet, and we will go over that as I go through this process. Okay, so I use the monthly reflections that we sell in the shop, and this is an insert that we created kind of based on things that I think are valuable to look at the end of each month that can help you figure out how that month went and where you need to go next as you approach the next month. So on the sheet you will see the first section is memories and highlights. I find this important because it is sometimes good to look back, especially when you've had a stressful month, which September was for me, to look back and kind of find the joy and find the highlights from that month so you can shift your mindset a little bit and your mood and your attitude. So like I said, September was pretty stressful, but the three highlights of this month actually need to be expanded on now. Number one would be start house hunting. So we started casually house hunting out here in Tennessee for a house with a little bit of land and didn't really think anything was going to come of it. When I filmed this video, we were still in the quote-unquote hunting process and hadn't made any firm decisions on what we were going to do. Pretty much the day after I filmed this video, we decided to put an offer in on a house. A couple days after that, negotiated with the seller, and now we are under contract with the home. So the actual highlight of this month is that we're under contract on a home. So that is a big highlight after a stressful month. My second highlight of this month would be we did a farm visit with the dairy farm that we get our raw milk from, so that's always fun. I love going on farm visits and seeing where my food comes from and just learning from local farmers. And then my third highlight would be my birthday sushi date with Matt. If you've been watching my videos recently, you know that the past few months have been challenging health-wise because I've had some GI issues, and finally decided to let go of some of my food limitations and went out and enjoyed sushi for the first time in 6 months with Matt for my birthday. So that was a highlight. Next section we look at is accomplishments. Again, kind of a more positive, look at the month that you're reflecting on, just to kind of give yourself credit for things that you achieved, even if it's something that's minute, because it's very important to look at the small little baby steps of things that you have done in the past month. So for me, the first thing I put on my accomplishments, we started to launch the 2020 Ankle Press collection. So that's a big deal for us. We got the color matching done, and we've already started the process of our weekly launches. So now we're in the midst of the busy time of year where we are just knocking out like 10 to 20 new items per week, which is very busy, but very fun. So that was a good accomplishment. Number two, kind of what I was talking about is my reduction of food anxieties. So with the health issues I've had for about the past 6 to 9 months, I've been using some elimination diets temporarily to figure out what's going on with my GI system. And when you do elimination diets, there's definitely benefits to that, especially if your issue is particularly food related and you can kind of nail down what the potential possible issue is, or the food or allergy or intolerance is. The downfall of that is when you go on really restrictive, limiting elimination diets for health purposes, they create food anxieties. I actually have a background as a psychotherapist, and I used to work particularly with eating disorders. And I know very well that when you limit and restrict foods, whether the purpose is for health improvement or otherwise, that the act of restricting can definitely bring up a lot of food anxiety, and you start to feel afraid to eat certain foods, very hesitant to eat certain foods, and your world becomes small, it becomes limiting, and it becomes really full of fear when it comes to eating. So even though the purpose of me doing elimination diets was to kind of uncover some potential causes of health issues, it really started to affect my just kind of eating experiences and options with foods. So long story short, tread lightly when it comes to elimination diets, and don't be as rigid probably as I was with it, because unless you have serious health issues, in that case, probably work with somebody that can monitor this with you and help you ease, not be so rigid when you do elimination diets. Anyways, I could do a whole video on that. I'm gonna stop rambling. The point of the story is I started to expand what I was eating and started to let go of these rigid rules from some of the diets that I was following so that I could start to expand what I was eating. And the result is that I'm eating more foods and feeling better. Okay, there we go. I could have said that in 30 seconds. All right, and the last thing on here as far as accomplishments goes is I just completed the kind of like goal life assessment for the new Moxie planner. So if you don't know what the Moxie Life Planner is, I'll leave a link below. Planner Friend on Instagram, she's a life coach. I think she's been a life coach for about 15 years or so. Just is launching her first ever planner this fall. I think it comes out in October or November. And she has a life assessment that goes with the planner, because the planner is like a weekly planner plus a goal setting planner. I am usually totally not into goal setting planners and not into assessments. Like, it's not my jam. Even though I used to be a psychotherapist and a life coach myself, I'm usually not really into it. But I had it printed out and sitting on my desk because I really like her style, like her vibe, like the content she's putting out there. And I was curious, so I signed up for the newsletter, so I got the assessment, and it's been sitting on my desk forever. So right before Matt and I were making the decision to put the offer on the house, it was sitting there, we're sitting in the office, and I'm like, I'm just gonna kind of go through this assessment and see what it says. What's the harm in that? Maybe I'll get something out of it. So I started going through it, rated myself, and then I actually had Matt rate me, because I think that's a very good practice to do. If you have a loved one, a spouse, a friend that knows you really well, having them do it too can kind of get you a little more honest, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so much better at this than I think I am. Sometimes you need a reality check, and it's good to have a loved one chime in on some of these ratings. So it was a good process for me to do and for him to do for me as well, because then we kind of figured out pretty, I would say, accurate scores and these different things. And it really uncovered a lot of good information for me. So I'm really glad that I did it, because it's going to help me going forward, which I'll talk about here in a second. But it actually helped us uncover some of our goals together and come to a decision to make an offer on the house. So yeah, this thing's pretty cool. I'll leave a link below. Lessons that I learned. Let's get this party going here, because I'm already 8 minutes in. Lessons that I learned. Number one, need to incorporate more fun, recreation, and rest into my life. So having done the assessment, something that I already knew but was really apparent to me after looking at my score in the kind of fun and recreation section of this assessment, is I kind of suck at fun, recreation, and rest. It's gotten better since I closed my gym and we moved, and my life isn't quite as busy, but I still struggle with giving myself permission to make more time for fun, recreation, and rest. And this is something I really want to work on, and I think it's incredibly important. So that is definitely a lesson I learned. Number two is trusting your gut is tough, but it is key, I think, to making decisions and being happy. So I definitely used to be really good at being more in sync with my intuition and trusting my gut. And actually, when I was going through life coaching school, this is something that was really brought to my attention, the importance of this, and that I actually have a pretty good intuition. I just need to hone my skills at listening to it. So I think this is something I really struggled with when we were making the decision about potentially buying this home and putting an offer in, and I couldn't really get a good understanding of what my gut was telling me to do. I'm not good at this, but I'm recognizing the importance of it and listening better and figuring out, just reconnecting with my intuition again so I can trust it more and let it guide me a little bit more in decisions versus getting stuck in my head so much. So if you have any tips on doing that, let me know. It's something I'm really going to start focusing on moving forward. Number three, it's okay to shift, and life has seasons. So I think part of my battle with deciding to make an offer on this house and move forward with planting some roots here in Tennessee was that Matt and I were pretty set on being nomadic and enjoying the freedoms that renting was bringing us. So that was kind of our mission. We sold the house last year in June of 2018, and closed my gym and did all of that. We're like, we're going to be nomadic. We're going to try these different states. We're going to see what's right for us. And we just kind of were on this nomadic path. And we even started looking at different things. Like, is there a way we can go even more nomadic and not even have like an apartment? Can we, I don't even know. Like, we were just kind of like on this whole living this, you know, gypsy life. And it was working for us, but what we quickly started to realize in this past, like, I would say 6 months or so, is that we actually really do like having a home, and we're feeling like we needed to plant some roots, and certain things about the lifestyle of owning a home we were missing. So I think part of my struggle in making the decision to bite the bullet and make an offer on this house was that I felt like I was super attached to my previous mindset that we needed to be nomads. That was our goal, and we wanted to enjoy the freedom of renting and all the benefits that come with that. So I think because I was attached to what I'd come to believe about those ideas, it was hard for me to let go of that and start to embrace the new mindset. So long story short on that one is being open to change. It's okay to shift your mindset. It's okay to change your mind, and that as your life goes along, there's seasons and your needs change. So that's the lesson. This is why this video is long, you guys, because I'm literally just musing out the Jess thoughts. Okay, so next is habit stuff. This is pretty clear cut for me right now. I had read daily, stretch daily, and journal daily. I had done those 100% all 30 days. And what helped was that I really have a solid morning and evening routine now. So I think that is super key. If you're trying to integrate new habits, really build in a routine and do it slowly. This has been a process over a couple of months, and I really have it nailed down. The one caveat here too, I would say, is I don't really know why I added the stretch daily thing in. I feel like it was something I thought I should do. I already do stretching with our, workout routine that we have nailed down, and it didn't really bring me anything. I don't think this is something I need to continue, so I'm gonna let that piece go. And with the journaling piece, I really want to kind of shift from just kind of documenting my day to more somehow integrating journaling into like answering more questions, being more reflective, not being just so like today was this and musing on my thoughts. I want to be a little bit more intentional with my journaling. I haven't really figured this piece out, but that's my initial thoughts. So the next steps for this is just keep up with my routine and these habits minus the stretching. And the only thing I want to add for next month is adding in a hobby habit. So in my kind of uncovering that I'm not very good at fun and recreation, my goal now is to build in time for habits. So I just purchased the hand letter design little hand lettering starter bundle thing to learn how to hand letter. So that's going to be my thing I focus on a few times a week in October. And then as far as goals and projects, if I flip into my mission board from September, I did get everything done in each category. So you can see, we'll go through this really quickly. So personal, I did my digital detox, which I know some of you participated in, did my AM stretching. Health, this is a funny story we'll talk about in a second, my doctor's appointment, maintained my AM and PM routine. For home, what I focused on last month, sorry, you can hear Champy itching, was making some new things. So I like to focus on trying new foods to make at home. So I made jeun, which is a form of kombucha, and instead of marshmallows, I actually made a gummy bear thing. So that was cool. Social was doing a farm visit and connecting with homesteaders on Facebook. Financial, our financial stuff's pretty set, so I don't have to focus too much on this area, but maintain our grocery budget, something that's where we go over, pay my Q3 income taxes. My dream big was start exploring properties, which we did, and do some homesteading research. And then business was work on content planning and launch the 2020 collection. So goals achieved. I used our little clear, transparent checkbox or check marks for that, and used this little clear text we have for that. So all that stuff was pretty much good. And at the time I wrote this, the house hunting was still in progress. But now that is not in progress. We are under contract. Next month, I want to analyze my goals and intentions based on the Moxie Life assessment that I did and add in more fun. And then we need to add more adventure and stuff back in, because we were like just constantly house hunting and exploring and driving all around Middle Tennessee, trying to find out where we wanted to live. Our kind of fun camping, hiking, adventure stuff really took a back seat. We really were lacking in that area this past month, which is okay. Obviously, again, every month is going to be different, but we really realized how important it was to make time for that, even in the midst of like other crazy stuff going on in your life. And then gratitude for this month is that the freedom our business gives us to find the right home. So we're really blessed that we have the opportunity to kind of live anywhere, and we could kind of look all over, not only, the country, but just we've fallen in love with Tennessee, and that the fact we can live anywhere in Middle Tennessee. We don't have to live by a big city, so it's really cool that this business allows us to do that. Number 2 is that my body's trying to teach me something with all my fun GI issues, even though I don't know what it is. So I'm shifting my mindset here to gratitude with my body, even though it can be frustrating when you're going through health problems, but trying to find kind of what I'm missing there and what I can hone in and listen to better, kind of again with that intuition thing. And then number 3 was the resources to purchase a home. I'm grateful for the fact that we have had opportunities. The gym did really well over the years I had that, and we were able to save and put different things in place that we can get ourselves in a position with a home that we can put 20% down, have a conventional mortgage, have a low mortgage, that we can purchase a home that puts us in a good financial position. Rating this month at a 7 at the time that I did this reflection. Right now I'd probably bump it to a 9 or 10 because we're under contract with the house, and that was cool. The one weird thing that did happen this month is I was supposed to have a GI doctor's appointment finally after waiting forever to make it once we moved to Tennessee, and finally making the appointment after a few months. Then this doctor's office couldn't get me in for like 6 to 8 weeks, made the appointment, show up on Monday, September 30th, thinking my appointment's at 3. I walk in at 3:03, 3 minutes late. They tell me I've missed my 15-minute window because my appointment was at 2:45. It was a cluster, you guys, and so annoying. And I basically ended up walking out of there saying I'm not going to be a new patient there and found a new doctor. So there's that. That could be a rant for a whole other day. Theme for the month is stressful. So even though it ended great with the house going under contract, that still in and of itself, even though it's good stress, is stressful. So let's look ahead to October. So when I first filmed this video, I had these 3 categories: health, home, and financial blank, because at that time we didn't know what was going on with the house, and I didn't want to set any firm goals because it was all going to be dependent on what happened with the house. So now that that's, we're under contract, that kind of shifts things. But some of the things I'm about to say still apply even though we've had some changes. So personal. So my goal with personal is more of an intention versus a goal, and it's invest time in hobby and fun. As of right now, I do have a goal set of 2 to 3 times per week of doing some kind of hobby or fun thing, but really kind of my overarching theme for this month with intention is to approach this month with a kind of less rigid, more go with the flow, like kind of softer approach, because of the fact that we're going to be in transition, and with the house stuff, like all the things that come with buying a house and going through the closing period, and then getting everything changed up for moving again. We're in limbo again with moving. I mean, we moved, will have been 6 months ago by the time we move here into this new house. So it's really, I find that setting really rigid goals when you're in a time of transition is not ideal. I think a better approach is to keep your routines, stay with the stuff that keeps you stress-free, keeps your life functioning, and then when it comes to each area of your life that you do want to work on, be really intentional and flexible, and also not as like I need to crush this thing as you might be if you were like settled in. So with personal, my goal is going to be 2 to 3 times a week of like hobbies and fun. But I'm not going to like beat myself up if I don't get that. I'm going to approach it with more about like, this is good for my mental health during a time that is going to have a lot of to-dos and a lot of stress. Okay. Same approach to social. So this is not really a goal. It's again more of an intention of being, open to community and exploring the idea of community. With moving, we're going to have to, again, create a social circle. We've got some friends here where we are now, just outside of Nashville, but we're going to be moving further outside of Nashville, so we're going to have to explore new friendship circles, new social circles. So right now I'm going to just kind of do that online. I belong to a homesteading group on Facebook, and just kind of try to connect people with people there that live near where we're moving, and just explore different avenues of where there might be people online that have similar interests that we do, and think about finding ways to connect with them once we get out there. So again, we're in limbo here, so I don't want to like invest a lot of effort and energy and set these rigid goals about the social area of my life when that's going to shift here in a month or so. With home, this was blank, but now it says close on the house on the 29th, so our closing is the 29th. So home is going to come with a bunch of to-dos, inspection, appraisal, homeowners insurance, shifting utilities, all of these things. So home is really going to be focused on getting all the stuff done for the house. So this is going to take a lot of our energy mentally and, you know, time. So that's going to be a big focus. Health, well, now that I needed to make a new doctor's appointment because the doctor's office was stupid, I have already went on and made a doctor's appointment with a new doctor, and I'm going to focus on hydrating. I'm usually not one of those people that's like, you need to really focus on hydrating, but I've not been good at it, and I feel it's actually causing me some issues. So, well, I don't think I need to be tracking it. I just want to be mindful of it. And then financial, again, this is an area that we have so much stuff automated, it kind of just happens, and we don't need to put a lot of effort into this, but I do need to pay our sales tax every month, and then just take care of the house stuff, getting our lender whatever documents they need. Again, all of our bills, our savings, all the stuff is automated, so we don't have to put effort here, which is nice because it frees up time and energy to spend that in other areas. Dream big, you can see I added on here, was really just work on goals for 2020. So I again want to take that Moxie Life assessment, really think about what I want to do with the results I gained from it and see where I want to shift my attention for the coming year. And, you know, I'll slowly start making some changes this last quarter, but I also just want to see, like, going into 2020, what really is going to be my goals and priorities based on what areas of my life need a little bit more love. So I'm just kind of exploring. And then also researching permaculture and homesteading. We are really excited to have a little bit of land so that we can start building our little homestead. We want to use a permaculture approach to that. So if you're not sure what that is, basically it's designing your property based on helping regenerate the soil, improving the climate, becoming more self-sufficient. So more than just having a pretty lawn, having like a food forest, all this kind of nerdy, cool agriculture stuff. So researching that so we can start participating in that stuff once we have our house. And then business stuff, really right now is invest time in one project. I always have all these ideas and projects rolling around in my head, and it's really hard for me to pinpoint which one should get attention. So my goal this month is to spend some time. I'm not gonna like rigidly pick the amount of time that I want to invest in just any one of the projects I have, these ideas that I have. Right now, it's really hard to spend too much time in any extraneous projects because we are so deep into getting all the 2020 Inkle Press coordinating collections out. So it's hard to kind of go and do other things. But that said, I do have some time and I need to kind of at least explore what would come of me investing in some of these ideas. So my mission continues to be kind of live simply, approach things intentionally, and just this month knowing that the focus is going to be continue sustaining the routines we have, continue, you know, the getting our collections out, our new stuff, and then focusing most of our time on getting ready to move and any research we need to do to implement some of the things we want to do with the land once we get there. So that is my new September 2019 reflection after a much better end to the month than a start. So the month started out really stressful. I didn't really go over that other than saying we were house hunting, then we had Champy had to go to the vet for his teeth, and Nala had to go to the vet because she hurt her eye, and then I had a little flare up with my GI issues where they got worse, and it was just kind of one of those crazy stressful months. And then it ended up cool because Nala's eye is doing better, Champy is fine, my GI issues started improving, and I'm doing much better at the moment, minus the weird doctor issue, that the whole stupid, I couldn't go to my appointment, made an appointment with a doctor that gets much better ratings, and we went under contract on the house. So sometimes you just have to weather the storm because there's good stuff on the other side. All right, so that is my reflection for September 2019. Let me know how your September went, what your goals are for October, and let me know what you think of these videos, because I do like talking through this whole process, but if you guys don't find these very useful, please let me know so that I can invest energy in doing videos that will be more helpful to you. I do like this kind of video because I get to kind of share some of my philosophy and experiences and how I approach different challenges, which may or may not be helpful to you. So again, honest feedback, I'm open to it, so let me know. And again, let me know if you want to see my face versus a piece of paper during this video. Happy to have a face-to-face conversation. Hope you guys had a better September than, you know, I was gonna say than I did, but actually ended up not a bad September. I hope you had a good September and have a great October, and I will see you guys in the next video.